Guys, what if Curtis was never the aggressor at all? What if the entire thing was staged from the very beginning and Isaiah's injured hand was actually the weapon he used to destroy Curtis's life? Because if you ask me, the deeper we look into this mess on General Hospital, the more it starts feeling less like a random fight and more like a calculated setup that could end with Curtis behind bars while Isaiah walks away with everything. And honestly, the scariest part is that Portia may already know the truth. We all saw the tension building between Curtis and Isaiah. That hostility did not come out of nowhere. But now there's growing speculation that Isaiah may have intentionally pushed Curtis into losing control. Not because he was afraid of Curtis, but because he needed Curtis to react. There's a huge difference there. One is self-defense. The other is manipulation. And right now, I can't stop thinking that Isaiah may have been playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. Because let's really think about this for a second. Isaiah is a doctor. He understands injuries better than almost anyone in Port Charles. He knows exactly what bruises look suspicious. He knows how swelling develops. He knows what kind of damage would make police believe a violent assault happened. So if Curtis did shove him during an emotional confrontation, what if Isaiah used that moment to create something much worse afterward? That possibility alone is disturbing. Some fans are already wondering whether Isaiah's hand was actually injured before the confrontation even happened. And if that turns out to be true, everything changes overnight. Suddenly, Curtis doesn't look like a violent man spiraling out of control. Suddenly, Isaiah starts looking like someone who came prepared. Someone who already had a plan before Curtis even walked into the room. But that's not even the wildest theory floating around right now. Because another possibility is even darker. What if Curtis only pushed Isaiah once during the argument, and Isaiah secretly made the injury worse himself afterward? Guys, doctors know how to manipulate medical evidence. That's just reality. Isaiah could easily exaggerate damage, trigger more bleeding, or even use medical techniques to make the injury appear catastrophic. And the second official records get involved, Curtis is trapped. That's where this story starts becoming terrifying. Because if Isaiah is truly building a legal case against Curtis, then this may not be about revenge anymore. It may be about elimination. Curtis is the obstacle standing between Isaiah and the life he wants. And that life may include Portia and possibly even Portia's baby. Yeah, that rumor is getting louder. There's growing speculation that Curtis may not be the biological father after all. And if Isaiah secretly believes the baby is his, then suddenly his actions take on a completely different meaning. If you ask me, that could explain why Isaiah seems so desperate to destroy Curtis instead of simply exposing him or fighting with him. Prison would permanently remove Curtis from the picture. No custody battle. No marriage to repair. No competition. Just Isaiah stepping into the role of protector while Curtis watches his entire family disappear from a jail cell. And that would be a brutal twist. But here's where things get even messier. Portia may already know exactly what Isaiah is doing. That possibility changes everything about her character. Imagine Portia discovering that Isaiah manipulated the injury. Imagine her realizing the police report doesn't fully add up. Maybe she notices details in the medical files that nobody else would catch. Maybe Isaiah even confesses part of the truth to her privately because he trusts her. But instead of turning against him, she stays silent. That silence would say more than words ever could. Because if Portia chooses Isaiah over Curtis, even after learning about the setup, then we are talking about a betrayal on another level entirely. Not just cheating, not just emotional confusion. We're talking about allowing an innocent man to potentially lose his freedom because of love. And honestly, that kind of storyline would split the entire fan base in half. Some viewers would call Portia heartless. Others would argue she's finally choosing the man she truly wants. But wait, because there may be one more layer hiding underneath all of this. What if Isaiah intentionally provoked Curtis from the start? The way I see it, Isaiah may have known Curtis was already emotionally vulnerable. Curtis has been carrying frustration, insecurity, and suspicion for a while now. So what if Isaiah kept subtly pushing him? Showing up around Portia constantly, getting too comfortable, making comments that sounded innocent on the surface but were actually designed to trigger Curtis emotionally. That would mean Curtis never really had a chance. And suddenly, that confrontation stops looking spontaneous. It starts looking engineered. Like Isaiah needed one explosive moment so he could finally activate the trap. One shove, one angry outburst, one mistake from Curtis. That's all it would take. Then Isaiah becomes the victim. Curtis becomes the criminal. And Portia becomes trapped between them. But, guys, I still don't think we've reached the biggest twist yet. Because there's another possibility that nobody is talking about enough. What if Isaiah's plan is bigger than Portia? Bigger than the baby? Bigger than Curtis? What if this entire situation is connected to something else Isaiah's hiding? Maybe financial secrets? Maybe hospital corruption? Maybe something buried in his past that Curtis was getting too close to uncovering? Because people don't usually risk this much unless they're protecting something massive. And if that's true, then Curtis may only be the first target. That's what keeps bothering me. Isaiah feels too calm, too controlled, too prepared. People who are genuinely scared usually make mistakes. But Isaiah, he almost seems comfortable inside the chaos. Like he expected all of this to happen. Like every emotional explosion around him somehow works in his favor. And if Portia really is protecting him, then together they could become one of the most dangerous couples Port Charles has seen in years. Not dangerous because they carry weapons, but dangerous because they manipulate trust, emotion, and perception. Those kinds of characters are always the hardest to expose because nobody sees the betrayal coming until it's too late. But the real question is this. What happens if Curtis starts realizing he was set up before the evidence against him becomes permanent? Because if Curtis uncovers proof that Isaiah manipulated his injury, this entire storyline could explode in the most shocking way imaginable. Careers destroyed, relationships exposed, DNA secrets revealed, and Portia forced to choose publicly between the man she married and the man she may have helped protect all along. And honestly, I have a feeling the truth hiding behind Isaiah's injured hand could end up being far more dangerous than the injury itself. Because sometimes the most devastating weapon in Port Charles isn't a gun. It's a lie that everybody believes.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.